Hello. When we talk about the pleasures of Bollywood today, they are not confined to viewing films. To borrow Ashish Rajyadaksha's definition of Bollywood, today Bollywood refers not only to the visual text of the film, but it includes all those practices centered on Bollywood, which fashions, song, dance, food, dancing, all the practices converging on Bollywood cinema that contribute to the pleasure of watching films. And this has been so right from the very beginning, when people went to watch films, particularly diasporic viewers went to watch films, not to watch the film per se, but also to perform certain forms of sociality which reminded them of home. So the importance, the pleasures of Bollywood films today have extended to include other pleasures, mainly that of seeing and dancing to Bollywood song and dance, but also lifestyles, fashions, and even food. Let's look at some of these assemblages related to Bollywood cinema. I would be taking the case study of one particular space, mainly Singapore, since I have conducted my field work there, to illustrate the forms of sociality produced by Bollywood films in the present context. And I'm indebted to this theoretical construct I have used as Delusion, Guattari's notion of assemblage in their book A Thousand Plateaus, Capitalism and Schizophrenia, in which they explain the idea of assemblage and show the main point to be taken here from here is that the book is an assemblage today, rather than, because in a book there are lines of articulation and segmentarity, strata and territories, but also lines of flight, movements of deterritorialization and destratification. Comparative rates of flows on these lines produce phenomena of relative slowness and viscosity, or on the contrary of acceleration and rupture. All these lines and measurable speeds constitutes an assemblage. So, I've quoted from Delusion, Guattari to explain what assemblage means, how they define assemblage, and we would look at Bollywood cinema as one such assemblage. Instead of the book, we look at film. We look at the multiplicities of affects on various bodies, spaces and media produced by popular Hindi films in Singapore, through the intersection of the intensities of the Bollywood film with other intensities. And interviews were conducted for this in Singapore between 13th October 2008 to 3rd August 2009 with male and female audience of all ages and nationalities, and research was completed in between 2008 and 2009. So, this is based on my own field work. So, in particularly relevant in Delusion, Guattari's description of the book as an assemblage is they emphasizing that it has no object, but only itself in connection with other assemblages and in relation to other bodies without organs. They are suggesting that instead of asking what a book means, we will ask what it functions with, in connection with what other things. So, instead of looking at what a film means in the context of cinema, which is what we normally tend to do, we need to ask what it functions with, in connection with what other things. Does it does or does not transmit its intensities, in which other multiplicities its own are inserted and metamorphosed, and with what other bodies without organs it makes its own converge. So, what are the other things with which it functions? And we said that the forms of sociality, as in the case of my friend in Tanzania who watched Mera Naam Joker 13 times, it was the function that the film performed rather than the film itself, the forms of sociality it performed in relation with the production of Indianness or Desiness in Tanzania, in connection with what other things such as food, such as dressing ethnic. So, it is with these other things the films transmits or does not transmit its intensities and the multiplicities in which its own are inserted. So, when we are looking at a film, we are looking at it in relation with other assemblages, such as the spaces within which they are inserted, such as the bodies with which they intersect, with which they converge. So, these interrogate the referential function of films. The relationship between collective assemblages of enunciation and that function directly with machinic assemblages signals a break between regimes of science and their objects. So, we no longer confine the pleasures of watching Bollywood films, because the reasons for watching them in the diasporas have been different, not in terms of its aesthetic merit, what a film means, what are its aesthetic strengths and weaknesses, how are we to appreciate a film in terms of its aesthetic qualities, but what it does, what functions it performs, that becomes very important in the case of not only its transnational circulation, but also in the functions it produces for different groups of global viewers and global fans of Bollywood films. Now, Delusion and Guattari also have also interrogated the expectation that art should imitate a reality outside itself and substituted the search for origins or roots with the concept of the rhizome, which ceaselessly establishes connections between semiotic chains, organizations of power and circumstances relative to the arts, sciences and social struggles. So, let us look at the semiotic chains, the rhizomic movement between films and all other pleasures connected with them that Bollywood films produce today, in order to understand the pleasures of Bollywood films. And Charles Sobchak asked, what have we as contemporary media theorists to do with such tactile, kinetic, resonant and sometimes tasteful experiences, descriptions of the film experience? We are not talking only about the pleasure of viewing a film, but also the tactile, the kinetic or even the tasteful experiences of the film going experience. Those of us who have watched film in a theatre, when theatre going was the mode preferred by most people, we recall with nostalgically recall the forms of sociality they performed, the entire environment that was created by the so-called lumpen elements in theatres, who would whistle, who would hoot, who would clap if they liked a particular part of the film or disliked a certain part of the film, and that contributed the film viewing experience. Now, as most of us watch films in the privacy of our homes on DVDs or even on our laptops in the privacy of our bedroom or sitting room, that surrounding space which we had when we watched film, when film was a communal viewing experience, has vanished, making the film viewing experience very different from what it was in the past. And I found that in the diasporas, this tactile, kinetic and tasteful descriptions of film going still perform a very important role. Focusing on media as a contested production of sensation, Amit Rai argues that against such an approach, as his focus on the body's effects modulated across these cultural and technological thresholds is committed to furthering ongoing explorations of the specific modes of address of Indian film genres as they articulate in feedback loop relations with active audience. So the film has no meaning on its own. It's what meaning the audience construct of it, the forms of the meanings that they make out of it, the functions to which the audience appropriate these films are equally important in the film viewing experience today. How does audiovisual technology circulate regimes of signs and sounds such that they seem to catch on to the very bodies of new globalized consumers? So I will not go into the assemblage with the machining assemblage, because that's another area altogether, but I'll confine myself to the forms of sociality produced by Bollywood films today. We have visited Jade Theatre and Cineplex in Singapore, and as we crossed the road and we went up the escalator, as we approached the Jade Theatre is a upscale boutique called Rang Fab, which stocks the latest Bollywood theme merchandise, and very often, invariably in fact, I have found as viewers walk down to the theatre, particularly young women, as this merchandise is more female attire, pause to check out the merchandise on their way down to the theatre. So the Bollywood viewing experience is now imbricated with the pleasures of not just watching the film, but also of dressing like the kind of Bollywood based merchandise that circulates today. For instance, you have a poster of Kal Aajkal here, and you have outfits from the film worn by the star of the film being stocked in this upmarket boutique, where young women can dress in the manner their favorite Bollywood stars dress, and one can also choose the DVDs of one can also buy accessories to match the outfits. But the most important aspect in which the Bollywood assemblage, the pleasures of Bollywood films, even before the cult for Bollywood films themselves began in the West, it was Bollywood song and dance, the denigrated Bollywood song and dance, which was decried in earlier views of Bollywood as lowbrow commercial cinema. It's the song and dance which was the first to have one audience in the Western world, and many who did not understand the Indian languages, or who could when the films DVDs of films were still not subtitled in English or in their language, they could still participate in the pleasures of dancing to Bollywood dances by performing by emulating the dance movements of their Bollywood stars. And you can see that Bollywood music video itself creates this space, particularly in the song and dance sequences. Not only in the very often in the club sequences, we find the lead actors being surrounded by white dancers, and that enables the white audience to insert themselves into the space of Bollywood cinema, and also to actively participate in the space of dance in clubs located in global cities all across the world. I take you to one such night in Singapore, a Bollywood night in Singapore, which was hosted during the festive season of Diwali in a very upmarket nightclub called Forbidden City in the Clarke Quay area. And the Bollywood nights, this Bollywood night was a Bhangra Kam Bollywood night, which had one of the very popular figures in Bollywood music on the Bhangra scene, namely a UK-based music producer called Xperience, who started his career with producing Bhangra albums and made his name through recording Jay Sean's iconic album Main Te Tere Naal Nachna. But Move was quickly appropriated by Bollywood filmmakers, and many of the songs produced by him have featured in a number of Bollywood films. And here we have him being accompanied by Veronica, the singer of one of his vocalists, who also performed in a film called Hum Tum. And the presence of Veronica on the dance floor in this club electrified the scene, and DJ Xperience himself is at the turntable sampling the music, and Veronica is dancing to the tunes composed by him. And then we move on to Bollywood song, where people sing to Bollywood songs. But from Clarke Quay, which is a rather upmarket area in Singapore, I take you to Circular Road, the club zone in Circular Road, which is something quite different from the earlier club and the night which was held in Forbidden City. In this club zone, we find a number of clubs, not just an occasional live performer usually from UK, but we have recorded music being performed in these clubs in the club zones. And the club itself, a blogger has reported that something wild and wonderful is happening in Singapore. It's getting a life, a nightlife, as the rest of the world knows. That is, forget quaffing Singapore slings. What's far headier is the attitude of locals who are partying like never before at amazing clubs and lounge bars. The few that caught my fancy are the Rupee Room, Desi owned Colaba Club, love the name, and Bollywood Tomb, fully filmy with gorgeous barkers from Mumbai. So as one enters the club zone, this is a Boat Quay as opposed to Clarke Quay, located at Circular Road, a 5 minutes walk from the Raffles MRT or Clarke Quay NEL station will bring you to this totally unique dimension of a fresh modern concept, because this entire road is lined by clubs named after famous Bollywood films like Krish, Tomb and so on. And I'll take you to one of these clubs, which is called Tomb. Established in 2002, Bollywood Tomb, as the name suggests, exudes a celebrity-esque glitz and glitter of Bollywood, and is the one pub that brings a Bollywood experience like no other. And across the road in this club zone, we have other clubs. So just opposite whom is the club Colaba, which is a more upmarket club, but one finds that the club is incidentally owned by the same person, but it differs according to the clientele it gets. Club Colaba is a more upscale club because the cover charge is used by Singaporean youth. It's the lifestyle of the classes. The Singaporean youth usually frequent this club to celebrate Bollywood nights on certain days of the month. As you can see, this is during Christmas time, and a lot of these nights are being held. The cover charge is 15 on Wednesdays, and on Saturdays, when you have a resident DJ or visiting DJ, the cover charge goes up further. And because of this, it's able to maintain its exclusivity. As the manager of the club pointed out to me, that we don't have the riffraff coming in visiting our club, because our club is largely for the upmarket youth. We have a high cover charge and we restrict entry except to the youth who come here to entertain themselves on the weekend, youth from well-heeled families, and she emphasized the Sindhis and the Sikhs, who form the more elite group of old Indian diaspora in Singapore. And it's this group which frequents Club Colaba. As opposed to that, we have Bollywood Tomb, which is just across the road, and which I understand is a kind of, let's first look at Club Colaba, Singapore's Indian fusion dance club, which provides patrons a gateway into Mumbai's legendary nightlife. Nestled in the heart of the city, Boat Quay, Club Colaba brings you a spacious ambience fused with a contemporary decor and a dash of Indian ethnicity. Club Colaba features live, provocative male and female dancers. Be prepared to get hypnotized by the choreographed dance steps and alluring movements of our sensual dancers in traditional and Western outfits. And it's a lounge bar, so it has it offers other pleasures such as professional bartenders who concoct authentic and inventive drinks to delight any palate. It's backed by an experienced and professional event management team. Club Colaba can cater and accommodate any event or customers choose to, event that customers choose to celebrate. So this is from Club Colaba's website. It invites you to come down and let its dancers seduce your senses with the experience of Mumbai's nightlife right here in Singapore. And we see different forms of sociality in Club Colaba being performed. I would have to copy these and play them for you because they don't seem to be playing from here. Let me see if I can open it because I had some clips from here. So here are the Sindhi and Punjabi youth, the manager said, who perform here, who come here to shake a leg on the weekends. The Club Colaba, Sindhi and Punjabi youth who frequent the club, you can meet them here. And Bollywood dancing in Tomb. So as opposed to this Christmas party which was being held in Club Colaba on the New Year's Eve, we have these young people who have congregated outside Club Colaba to enjoy the party. But if we move on to Tomb, it's a different world altogether because it's a different form of sociality which is being performed in Tomb. In Bollywood Tomb, you will step into a sensually exotic setting and layered with a slick, sophisticated touch. This modern Indian themed establishment exudes the glamour and glitz of Bollywood with its trademark sensational music and exotic dancing. Bring your group of friends, buddies, or even by yourself for a great evening to chill and unwind, and prepare to be hypnotized by the rhythmic and graceful dance moves of beautiful dancers in traditional dresses, specially flown in from Mystic India. Now, I found out that these dancers flown in from Mystic India were actually a euphemism for the so-called dance bars in India. And when the dance bars shut down in Mumbai, all the dancers moved to Singapore and found a more respectable way of earning a living. Now, I was led into Tomb by my enthusiastic Chinese intern, who I had asked to, who had requested to cover the Christmas Eve night. I had sent her to Club Colaba to interview the manager and the early guests before I could reach there. But she had been more assiduous, and before I arrived there, she told me in a very excited fashion that she had found not only Club Colaba, but she'd been working hard, and she discovered many more clubs. Doom, Krish, this is what she told me, Prof, I found so many other clubs, and I even went inside. Now, this young woman, an 18-year-old young student of NUS who was assisting me in my fieldwork, led me to the dance bar called Doom. It was her description which made me suspect that it was a dance bar, but I didn't quite realize until I accompanied her, led by some Indians who invited me to go and check it out. when she said, oh, she went into Doom and she found beautiful Indian women in saris dancing and middle-aged men sitting in a row. I got extremely suspicious when I heard this description, but she was extremely excited that she could see beautiful girls in beautiful saris dancing. In Bollywood Tomb, you will step into a sensually exotic setting and layered with a slick, sophisticated touch. This modern theme, so this is what it calls itself, and you can see the club goers outside. And we couldn't take pictures. We can see it's a very hazy picture from the main arena. Garish interiors, smoky surroundings, sylph-like 18-year-olds swaying seductively to loud Bollywood music, wealthy men generously showering money on dancers. The sights and sounds are familiar, nearly identical. The setting isn't that of a dance bar in Grant Road or Tardeo, but of one in Singapore's upmarket entertainment district, Boat Quay. While the moral police clamped down on the infamous hotspots of Mumbai, dance bars have been thriving in this part of the world. Around 13 such bars have set up shop in Singapore, 3 in Malaysia and 1 in Jakarta, according to one report. And here we have the beautiful girls. Be prepared to be embraced by exotic dancers. They are flown in from India and be entertained, dancing in beautiful saris. And the manager, the partner in Bollywood Tomb, says, we prefer to bring in girls from dance institutes and even ask for resumes to be sent in. Bar owners have a wide range to choose from, and occasionally things get uncomfortable. Sometimes mothers urge us to select their daughters. So some owners, though, how this whole dance bar culture is organized in Singapore as opposed to India, where it's more informal and it's a forbidden pleasure. I wanted you to, we have been to Bollywood Bhangra nights earlier, and we've seen the kind of speciality that they see song and dance performs in diasporic settings, but there are many spaces of these song and dance and different forms of sociality which are produced in alternative dance spaces. For instance, the difference between the dance space of Club Colaba or the Rishikesh night, which had Singapore, South Asian, largely South Asian, but also other Singaporean youth performing their Desi identity or their ethnic identity through dancing to Bhangra and to Bollywood music on the Rishikesh night and in Club Colaba. Here we have a different form of sociality being produced, but very different from the kind of sociality that dance bars produce in Indian settings. I'll come to that in a minute. So these young men outside Doom and the so-called middle-aged men sitting inside Doom, I would, if I could, I'm sorry I cannot play this, I'll have to copy them and play them to you to show that even though the dance that is performed is the same, the pleasures that the dancers, the club goers get after going to Doom is very different from the pleasures that a dance bar offers. I'll summarize what the Doom customers, who were largely around the age of 30 plus, they were not middle-aged, but they were around 30, and most of them were mid-level executives, young men who were working in Singapore, young Indian men working in Singapore, and who didn't know what to do on their weekends. They would miss home, and most of them confided that the reason why they came to Bollywood to Doom is they came here to listen to Bollywood songs and dance and perform the kind of sociality that was possible in India, not in the regimented and regulated space of Singapore. So here they could let their hair down, they could do whatever they wanted, which they couldn't do in other spaces in Singapore. So it was not the titillating pleasures of the dance bar that are condemned in India, but very different forms of this feeling of home just by listening to Bollywood songs and dance in an all-male group, which brought these young executives together. to the space of the dance bar. And we conclude by the pleasures of food by visiting a Bollywood based, Bollywood theme restaurant in Sunteck City, which is called Bombay Cafe. It is there's several branches of this. In Tanjong Katong, this Bollywood theme restaurant is like a breath of fresh air, says one of the customers. On the outset, this two-story shop house sports bold colors, a refreshing combination of pinkish purplish shade juxtaposed against the elegance of black. Then come close and personal indoors with big names in Bollywood, with the likes of old favorites like Amitabh Bachchan, Dharmendra, and new favorites like Amir Khan, Shah Rukh Khan, and Kareena Kapoor. And true to its made in Bombay theme, this vegetarian restaurant serves an authentic and popular array of Bombay street side food. Just as segments of Bollywood movies are shot overseas to titillate viewers, Bombay Cafe also prides itself on serving a fusion of Indian dishes incorporating Chinese, Western, and local taste. The decor is, to put it mildly, garish. The pink and the black theme was a bit too pink for my M's liking, but I did like the fact that they have screens showing Bollywood movies. Having read about Pani Puri on the Traveling Hungry Boys blog, it was something I definitely had to try. Well, except it's called Golgappa, $6 plus here, but it's really the same thing. So, how the pleasures of watching Bollywood films are articulated to the pleasures of food in this Bollywood themed restaurant, because together they produce the feeling of home. And once again, I take you back to Jade, because as you enter the Cineplex, you have to find your way through this food bar, which is called Chaat on the Roll, and it promises to sell you chaat from Chandni Chowk to Chaurangi. So before you enter the Cineplex, you are confronted with the olfactory pressure of Indian street food, which already prepares you for the film viewing experience. You can pick up a chaat on a roll from here before entering the cinema hall, and grab a quick snack before you enter, or on your way back you can pick up some food, and that creates your entire desi evening. You check out Bollywood fashions along the way and go back satisfied. Now, this pleasure of watching Bollywood films is not restricted to spaces like Jade, but I found similar nights in Germany, and here's a Bombay Boogie night with a white dancer and some gories who were at the party. I'll quickly play a video from some of these parties before I conclude. Let me see if I can play the links which don't seem to be playing earlier. Let's go to Dhoom. So the middle-aged men sitting on a stool are not visible because we smuggled in the camera without letting the owner see what we were smuggling in. And let's go to Club Colaba now. So you can see how the pleasure of dancing to Bollywood films. In one space is altogether different from that in another dance space of Dhoom, where a woman is performing for the pleasure of middle-aged men. And what interested me was that when I watched the same video in the same song in Dhoom.
You're a Singaporean Indian, yeah. So how long have you been a DJ in this club?
In this club?
Yeah.
I'm actually not a DJ in this club. I'm a reserve DJ for this club.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I and my partner, we actually got this club about 3 months back.
Oh, I see.
3 months back, yeah.
So what kind of music do you usually play? Like Bollywood hits?
We normally play Bollywood hits, Bhangra, R&B, a bit of R&B.
Okay.
And maybe a bit of South Indian.
Oh, South Indian.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So what is the crowd like here?
Crowd here is mostly North Indian.
Oh, okay.
North Indian.
North Indian. Singaporeans?
Singaporeans, sometimes from overseas also.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah. And then some ladies.
Okay, so it's usually crowded on the weekends,
Weekends, Fridays, Saturdays.
Okay. So how come you all have this idea for a Bollywood night?
The club actually do it every weekend.
Oh,
every
okay.
Friday weekends or Saturday weekends.
Oh, okay.
So that they can have promotions for their club.
I see.
Like drinks and alcohol and everything for promotion. And then try to attract the people to come down to this club.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because in Singapore there are many Bollywood clubs.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so each club are trying to do something different. So this club is every weekend there's a dance party with good deals for the drinks and all.
Oh, I see. Okay, so can I ask you some questions like about Bollywood movies?
Okay.
Yeah, so what kind of Bollywood movies do you like?
Those action kind.
Action kind,
Yeah.
Romance, comedy?
Obviously
Yeah.
there also comes.
Oh, okay.
The best movie is all of it in one.
Yeah.
Okay, so this was Club Colaba and the DJ telling us how the idea of the Bollywood nights emerged and who was dancing to Bollywood nights in these spaces. And now let's move to the 30+ customers of Dhoom to find out why do they come to these clubs. Is it for the Puri and pleasures of...
So, do you all come to Dhoom often?
No, we are visitors, so we are here.
Oh, I see. So, you are expatriates from...
Yeah.
Okay, so you're working in Singapore?
No, I'm working, he's not working.
Okay, so are you both from South Asia?
South Asia is India, so yeah. So,
Oh, okay. So, I heard that there are dance bars like that in India as well. Yeah. So, is it common?
in India, it's not no longer common. It used to be very common in India.
Okay.
Yeah. No longer now.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. What are your age group range?
Sorry?
What are your age group range?
30 plus.
30 plus?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So only men are inside,
No.
You are just seeing men today.
You are unfortunate you are seeing men inside.
Couples
On the
coming here,
weekends,
husband, wives.
I would say it's a couples comes here. Bachelors comes here.
Oh, okay.
Girls who are not married, I'm not so sure what you call them, but they come here.
Okay.
There are a lot of, it's an exciting place, especially on Fridays, Saturdays here.
I see.
Yeah.
It's more traditional music, right? As compared to
Yeah,
the rest.
it is. Absolutely, it's pure Bollywood.
World is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it, the girls, do they dance guitar or bhangra?
I think they do.
Western, it's
Fusion, classic, bhangra, everything. Yeah.
Wow.
This is like traditional Indian song.
Oh, okay.
The one before that was not.
All are mostly Bollywood songs.
All
Yeah,
Bollywood
yeah,
songs.
all, yeah.
All
So what
Bollywood
kind of songs are they? R&B, techno?
The Bollywood industry is expanding,
Okay.
and it's a multi-billion, industry altogether.
So as you can see that it's not the gangsters and the middle-aged men who frequent dance bars in India, but 30+ executives who are there just to produce the feeling of home. And I conclude with this dance space in Canada and the performance of a similar song of a Bollywood dance in a party in Canada. Bollywood's pleasures are no longer confined to the pleasures of viewing films. They are articulated to several other pleasures, such as those of singing, dancing, of food, of fashions, in the way that Rajadhyaksha explained Bollywood cinema today, or the meaning of Bollywood today.